This is my part of the world. This is what I love. The Outback. Yeah, we got a bit on here. We're going to have to try and get out as quick as we can. A remote Outback trip gone wrong. Whoa! The van just went straight out sideways. We're averaging 8 kilometres an hour.
It might not be as easy as we once thought.
It's sort of getting to the point now where it would be foolish to push on.
I don't think I'm going anywhere.
We are hit by unseasonable weather and find ourselves stuck in flood country. Come for a little trip through the Outback, I said. It'll be fun, I said. We have to get out of here. We have to get out of here. This is deadly serious. Right, little BTS, little backstory for you. Last you saw us, South Australia. York Peninsula, Kangaroo Island, coastal scenery, loving it to pieces. The plan has always been to go from the bottom end of Kangaroo Island all the damn way to the tip of Cape York over the course of the next year or so. To get there, we ain't taking the blacktop. We've got a bit of time on our hands, and as such, heading up through the guts of northern New South Wales, central Queensland. As much dirt as we can possibly find. We powered up through there, camped a couple of nights out in the middle of nowhere, but this is where we're starting this particular trip. To the north lies the Outback. Tell you what, we have been doggy paddling in the shallow end for too long. Your beaches with your dolphins, swimming in the crystal clear water. It is time for us to jump off the diving board into the deep end. And this is my part of the world. This is what I love. The Outback. A bit of floodwater's come down, as you can see on the side of the road. I think we'll be okay, but it is something we will keep an eye on. But for now, folks, do up your belt buckles and stick on your recubras. We're heading north and we're doing it inland, Outback style. Whilst traditionally the Outback is seen as a dry, arid place, it has recently seen some heavy rainfalls and strange weather patterns, which means the usually sunburnt country has turned green and is teeming with life. The area that we're heading into is known as Channel Country. It's called this because it's a roughly 150,000 square kilometre area containing numerous intertwined rivulets and floodplains that cross the region. When the top end of Australia is battered with cyclones in the wet season, the water then flows south through the Channel Country, eventually ending up in the Lake Eyre Basin. However, we've got the green light and the tracks are open, which is good news because we have a long way to travel if you want to get up north. The Outback demands long, grueling stretches of driving, and that's exactly what we've done today. Before we know it, we've covered a couple of 100 Ks and made our way through the back country of New South Wales and into Queensland. Hold your breath. You're in New South Wales at the moment. You're about to be in Queensland. I will say this. The Queensland side's got a way better road.
We're officially on your favourite side of the country.
Settle down, mate. Settle down. It's not WA. Right, come on. After a few more hours of pushing, we find a perfect spot to rest up for the night. But as the sun sets, some ominous clouds start to come from the north. And if off-grid has taught us anything, it's that plans can change very quickly. As we wake up to rain falling on the vans, we realise that a large weather system is moving south and is currently settling into the area. This is bad news for us. We're about 600 kilometres from anywhere. The forecast in no way predicted this, but the fact of the matter is, it's here. Turning back is not really an option because there's nothing behind us and we'd be driving with the storm. So we make the decision to push slowly north in the hope that we can stay in front of it. Just a little bit of rain.
Yeah, mate, you can just sort of see it rolling in, yes, the Arvo, and I think this one might be in to stay.
I think you're right. We'll keep an eye on it. It's not forecast to do much, but then you don't need much out here.
Just a little bit can turn this into a complete mess. So, look, we'll keep watching it and see how we go.
But a little rain quickly turns into a consistent downfall, and as time passes, it begins to get heavier.
Geez, you can really feel the track is already starting to get soggy and Looking at these clouds, I don't think that is going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, you can hear all that mud just fleeking up on the side of the car. And look at Graham's.
You hear that noise? That's the top couple of mil of dirt coming up as chunky, not even mud, it's just sticking together and flicking up off my tyres. Oh man, this track is horrible. It's just full of washouts and divots. The problem with a small amount of rain in the outback is it's flat out here. I mean, really flat. So the risk of flooding, even from just a small amount of rain, is very high. It's black soil country, and once black soil is wet, the mud becomes so sticky it can swallow a vehicle whole, and it can take months before it's dry enough to rescue. Just come around a corner, it's just a little bit wet on that corner there and it's taking that topsoil off. Once you lose traction on this, the vehicle gets a mind of its own. You gotta just strap in for the ride. Keep it coming, keep it coming.
Oh my God.
The other ways.
I'm moving sideways.
She's stuck.
I don't think I'm going anywhere.
What have you done, mate?
No, just gone for a little slosh and slide in this mud pit.
Look, that'll probably do it. You're driving with racing slicks on. 2 mil of rain out here and she's just gone to absolute slosh.
What's the going rate for rescuing someone this early on in the trip? In these low-lying areas here, I've slipped off the road and I've created a little bit of a divot there. And what I think's happened here is Steph's just slid into my ruts and hasn't got the power to pull herself back out again. And that's why this black soil country, have a look at this. Down there, it's dusty, dry. On top, it's slippery as. So we've got a long way to go to get out of here on this stuff. See if we can get you back on the road, but I don't know. Have a go.
Come on.
Keep going, keep going. No. Keep going. Yep. But with no traction and a van in tow, go forward. Doesn't look like we're going anywhere fast. I think we're gonna have to winch you out of there. I'm conscious that I don't want to dig this track up. All we've got to do is just get Steph over to here and she'll drive out. So I think ordinarily I'd try and come back and be the anchor, but I'm even concerned if I come back and fall off the track, that'll be the end for me too. So I think we might just try and run a winch out and winch her back onto the track and see how we go from there.
All right, Graham, I am ready when you are. We're moving. We're moving. Mud's flicking everywhere, but we're moving. Gotta find the sweet spot.
Yeah, you just keep driving, Steph. Get your foot on the accelerator. Yeah, I reckon there's about good. Now's gonna be the fun part, Steph.
What, you don't want to do that all again? Let's give this a go.
You've done remarkably well.
Going for it.
You've done remarkably well.
Nice one!
That felt like I was slipping and sliding everywhere, but I think I did it.
Steph may be back on the track, but for every passing minute, more rain is falling, adding to our troubles. Strange conditions. Just, I keep saying, you don't need much rain out here. And the roads aren't impassable. We're not doing any damage to them. But yeah, they just become like a quagmire. And it's only that top little bit too. Underneath, she's bone dry. It's always good, I reckon. I enjoy it anyway. To see this country in a totally different light. You know, you always see it dry, dusty, hot. To see it with a bit of rain on it, this is going to do this place so much good. It's just going to come alive after this. As we continue to very slowly push north, the rain just gets heavier. Currently doing 16 kilometres an hour. Just trying to hold my line. And it's almost a bit like driving on snow, in so much as that when I start to veer off like now, I actually just let the vehicle roll. And that means I get traction back again. It looks like I'm concentrating, it's because I am. Look at that. Look at me slide sideways. I'm now going sideways.
Pretty unnerving feeling when the car feels like it's moving like horizontally.
Parts of the track start to become floodplains, and the weight of the vehicles starts to take its toll. I must have picked up something I shouldn't have. I don't know. We've angered the weather gods somehow, some way. This was in no way forecast, or at least it was a smattering of rain, like a sprinkle. And we've had a bit of a deluge come through here at the moment. Roads are open, and we're just creeping our way along. I think though we're going to come to a point down here where we're going to... Whoa! The van just went straight out sideways. We're probably going to have to call this. We're still a long way from getting to the next town. We're averaging 8 kilometres an hour, 9 kilometres an hour. It'd be quicker to walk. Crikey, Steph, got a copy back there?
Yeah, I'm sloshing around in all this mud. I got a copy.
We've got sort of a bit of a camping spot coming up down here. What do you reckon? We push on, do we call it? Should we stop and have a meeting? What do you reckon?
I reckon we stop and have a meeting, assess the game plan.
I don't want to be the big wowser in it, but it's sort of getting to the point now where it would be foolish to push on, given that we're going to get more and more rain today. If my eyes don't deceive me, there's a structure down here. Let's pull up, have a team meeting. This rain ain't stopping anytime soon. And this little spot here, if I can creep into it without sinking to my haunches, is actually not too bad. Got quite a bit of firewood around as well. Look at this, this is cosy. Second time in the history of OG we've had to call it due to bad weather, inclement weather, unseasonal weather, unforecast weather.
Mate, this doesn't look to be letting up anytime soon, I wouldn't have thought.
No.
No. We've done probably about 15 to 17 Ks in 2 hours.
Nearly 4 hours.
Jeez. And yeah, we've still got a couple of hundred to go.
A couple of hundred to go. The weather forecast said it's getting better. We haven't cut up the tracks yet, but I just don't know what's going on in here.
No.
We can't just keep going. We're averaging like 8 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, we're not getting anywhere anytime quick.
No. This is not a bad spot. If we can find somewhere level to put the vans.
Look at this. Chunky goodness. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, rule number 1.
Yeah.
Shoes coming off before entering the van.
Well, Gaz has loaded up this morning with some nice dry firewood, which is great. Handy. Pouring rain out here, everything's wet. But how am I meant to get into that thing? Oh, this is diabolical. Oh, this is why we've had to down tools. Lucky Maverick put these little latch covers on though. Look at that, perfect. Works. Petra. Yeah, those covers are grouse. Even got a tap out here for me. That's what you want. Oh, look at that, that's a nice dry firewood.
Well, without a doubt, we have made the right choice to stop. That rain's really set in now. It's just gone midday. We got going at 8 o'clock this morning. It's done about 15k and it's taken us all morning to get here. So there's no way we would have got out. We would have had to camp on the side of the track anyway, so it's a no-brainer. We are now stuck in the middle of the outback with the roads out, flooding with every minute that passes. All we can do now is pray to the weather gods and, well, kill some time.
Welcome.
What's going on?
We're getting serious.
Yeah.
Monopoly deal.
Oh.
This is play for keeps type
We get
stuff.
very competitive playing Monopoly Deal, and the cameraman is about to learn how to play.
What's wrong?
I'm annoyed. I'm not happy.
Why?
Right, there you go.
We teach the cameraman how to play our favourite game ever, and he does really good at it in the first round, and he wins.
Do you reckon she's a little bit competitive?
Only at this game, because I know.
I've got to get out of camp. They're starting to drive me nuts. Look at them. They're starting to drive me nuts. I've got to get out of camp. I'm just going to go for a wander down here, have a look at this track, see what she's like. It's definitely dried out. When we pulled in here 3 or 4 hours ago, this track was as you can see, the track behind me was an absolute quagmire of water, so there's a bit of a river crossing down here. I'll show you what we've got to try and cross. Track comes in here, track comes in through here. You can see this is the creek through here. If you go down, you may not pop back out again. All those pools are linking up. You can almost say she's starting to flow, almost. Look at it. It is flowing. It is flowing. And out here in the outback, that's a lot of rain. Oh well, we'll leave it overnight and see where we end up tomorrow, eh? That's all we can do. As the afternoon progresses, the rain has eased. However, the sky is telling us there's likely more to come. vehicles have done well this far, but not without a new paint job.
Get a look at these bloody things. The Clearview rock tamers are unbelievable. Now, you know that they stop the rocks and everything shooting up and damaging your vans, but we've been doing a fair bit of driving last day and a bit on some muddy tracks, and these are just catching absolute filth. Now, your guards do a fair bit of the work, but look how much is stuck to that. It's unbelievable. It is just absolute trash.
Armed with a Sudoku and a cold beer, we continue to wait and wait and wait, but things go south again. All our drying out afternoon has been...
Geez, I'd hate to be sleeping over there in the rain tonight.
Yeah, it'd suck to be a cameraman.
Quite comfortable in the Viper over here.
Lovely over here.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a me problem.
No, not at all. Doesn't sound like a me problem either.
Anyway, I think I'll go back to my awning over here, mate.
Yeah.
If you can just get out there. If you can get out there, thanks, mate. In there where you belong.
Some for you.
I got too much dry space, I don't know what to do with it all. In times like these, wine and food is usually the only cure. So whilst we wait for this unseasonal weather, I think it's time for a big old cook-up. Been in camp now for nearly 7 hours, and for 5 of those 7 hours, it wasn't too bad. Like, it was drizzly and wet, and you knew we made the right decision to pull up. But for the last hour, she's turned really temperamental. It's coming from this direction now, which means that I'm getting absolutely dutz, but we're doing an old favourite of mine tonight, and I figure that everyone needs a bit of warming up. So we're going to do, we're going to do highly min. Weird name, traditional dish. Basically mince, cabbage, I've got bacon, I've got pancetta, I've got all sorts of stuff going to go in there tonight. I'm going to do a rapid fire, get this bad boy on, leave it for an hour to cook, heaps of curry powder, bit of chilli, couple of vinos, warm the cockles of your heart. I'm slowly sinking. Look at me kitchen. Have a go at this, Mr. Cameron. Look at me kitchen. Now, conditions are pretty brutal, I think you'll agree, but I'm undercover. I'm totally fine. In there, rock solid, sleeping like a baby tonight. Couple of vinos over here. This is what it's all about, folks. You think that vans are going to limit where you go. They don't. They allow you to get to places and be comfortable in conditions you otherwise wouldn't be. Holy balls, they say that CrossFit keeps you going. Well, I'll tell you what, cook a holy min in the rain. This is going to be something else. We'll just give that one last little stab to make sure it's dead. And that, my friends, that is a dish you will not forget. Cheers. Righto, guys, come on. I think you deserve this. Oh, watch your head. We have got us a moist highly min. I'm not going to let it dry out too much because you know what? It's in keeping with the conditions.
It is.
Pass me your bowl there, Stephanie J. Holden.
Oh, that looks so good.
Well, ordinarily about this stage, I'd grab my seat and I'd go and sit around the fire, put my feet up, and I'd enjoy it. It is coming in sideways through here.
Yep.
The highly min's probably going to come out sideways tomorrow, but for now, I reckon just get this in you. Let's get the diesel heaters going, get in the vans, let the fire do what it wants to do.
We'll just watch from afar.
Yeah.
And folks, tomorrow is a new day. We'll see how we go. In all seriousness, I don't know if we can get out of here tomorrow. I honestly don't. It might be another day in camp.
That's a future us problem.
It's a future us problem. For now,
highly min.
we eat, we drink, and we be merry. See you tomorrow.
This is a 3-in-1 jacket. First up, you've got this mad outer shell, which is perfect to use as a raincoat. But if you take that off, you've actually got a puffer jacket zipped to the inside of it. The best part is you can choose which one you want. So if you're around camp and it's cold and not raining, you can just wear the puffer. Or if it's raining and not cold, you can just wear the raincoat. Or if it's raining and cold, like it's about to be right now, you can wear both. So to get yourself prepped for winter and get this awesome 3-in-1 jacket, just go to 4drive247.com.
Well, it's still wet. It's still very wet. Oh, this is gonna be a fun day.
The rain continues to fall without stopping overnight. This makes today a very difficult day. The floodplains are filling up, and with no let up in sight, we need to make a decision on what we do from here. Well, conditions have actually deteriorated quite significantly. If you look at the back of the Y62 there, I haven't even moved and the back of the vehicle is sunk down. Now, the problem we've got is that to move out of here, or to attempt to move out of here, means driving on roads that are currently closed. Not to mention we will cut them up. Untold damage will be done to those roads if we try and move out of here. We've got food, we've got supplies, we've got plenty of water. We could probably sit out here quite comfortably for, look, the next week, minimum, the next week. The forecast on the Zoleo suggests that there's going to be rainfall every day for the next 3 to 4 to 5 days. So we're in a bit of a quandary right now. There's not much we can do. To move is illegal. So really, the reality is we've just got to stay put. Whilst we're not physically stuck, we're kind of stuck. But as the morning passes, more rain falls.
It's officially gone past enjoyable now. If anything though,
This the Y62 is looking good.
We're now coming up to 24 hours trapped, and we're beginning to get creative with how we spend our time.
Put it like that.
and then the lowest point is where it runs into the tank.
Ali's just smashed his, 10th Sudoku from the morning.
Punching through a couple.
Cameraman's keeping nice and toasty warm in his car. Gaz is, well, the door's closed, so you don't want to know what's happening in there at the moment.
As the morning turns to afternoon, the smallest bit of respite from the rain gives us a glimmer of hope. Harley got so bored, he thought it was time to try a new look. I'm not completely sold on it yet.
Oh, you've done a full Brittany. It's going to take some getting used to, I think.
Mate, feeling fresh, liberated really. The breeze just flowing in my scalp.
Yeah, look, it's growing on me.
That's good.
I've got to say, I was very unsure at the beginning, but look, I've done a great job. So
Look at that. Feeling good.
Yesterday, when I went for a walk, there were just puddles of water in here. They weren't linked up, and it was just, I don't want to use the word flowing because it wasn't flowing, but the puddles of water were starting to link up. Today, that's 24 hours later, this little river here is actually flowing. Now, I reckon you could count on one hand the number of times this bad boy flows in any 10-year period. So we've had some serious rain. But I don't want to jinx it. Sort of feels like it's lifted, you know what I mean? Like that heavy, dense, foggy feeling's kind of gone higher. Doesn't look it in the sky, but it just feels a bit more alive. The birds are out. We're starting to get more flies. There's ants on the ground. It's as if they know it's ended. We put a call out on the Zoleo to see what the situation is outside our little makeshift caravan home, and a prompt response from the local authorities gave us a grave warning. There's more rain on the way. Righto, just put the old Zoleo to work. There's a few back and forwards going on here, but basically, I'll read what we've got on the Zoleo. It says, spoke to Constable Stanley at Goodoogga Police. Basically said it's going to rain for a couple more days. The roads could get worse. We said to the police guys, we want to be responsible and not damage the tracks. He said, if you could, he would rather you drive out now. So basically, we've been given the all clear to try and get out of here. And that's why any sort of communication device out in the bush, absolutely vital. So basically, pack up, head north. We walked the track this morning. There's a river where there wasn't a river yesterday. But I'll give you the latest weather because you can get the weather on the Zoleo as well. Today, in theory, we might see the sun pop out. Tomorrow, 2 mil, Wednesday, 3 mil, Thursday, 3 mil. So basically the same as we've been experiencing for the last 48 hours or so. So today, really, this is our chance. This is it. We've got to get out of here today, or I live here now. You can direct my mail via that hut over there, and I'll collect it once every 6 months. But in all seriousness, I think we're going to have quite the mission to get out of here. So I'm going to get packed up, cross my fingers, cross my legs, hope for the best. Let's give it a go. Well, I'm just getting all prepped up here, making sure the Runva is all prepped and ready to go. I'm going to get the winch cable out from underneath here and put it up nice and high. We've taken a walk down there and what am I now, soaking wet, 71 kilos, and I'm sinking 7 tonnes. So I've got a feeling, well, let's just see how we go. Basically, I'm getting ready before we get down there because I've got a sneaking suspicion this is going to get one heck of a workout over the next few hours. Without knowing what lies ahead, there's only one thing to do, and that's enjoy our last night in what has become home away from home, and hope that with every passing minute, the tracks dry up.
Ooh, that's a good one.
With the team in good spirits, our prayers to the weather gods are finally answered, and a small yellow sliver of sky opens up on the horizon. Holy heck, will you look at that? Okay, fantastic sunset, and it is, but you know the old saying, red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, sailor's warning. 6:30 p.m. It's a red sky. There is hope, there is hope. Rains have stopped, clouds are sort of breaking up. I've got a good feeling about this. I have got a good feeling about this. We've been stuck here for a day and a half now. Starting to go a little bit stir crazy. People are shaving their heads. I saw Steph running off into the bush before. Don't know what she was doing. But that gives me hope. See what tomorrow brings. The morning brings some welcome respite to what has been over 48 hours of intense and consistent rain. However, it's not all good news. As we fly the drone to see the track we came in on has been completely submerged underwater. This means only one thing. We have to push further into the outback to find a way out. Been parked up here for a day or so with these rains that have come through. We've sort of been waiting for the track to dry out so we don't cut her up. Trying to do the right thing. Have a look here. Well, that's me tyres buried. You're probably thinking, well, it's not buried that much. Have a look at my stone guard at the back here. That bad boy sits about that far above the ground ordinarily, and that's where it is right now. So I've sunk at least that far. Hopefully I'll just drive forward and pop out of here. We're about to find out. With the vans packed up, we head out of camp, but by the looks of things, we aren't going anywhere quickly. Feels damn good to be moving again.
Mate, it's nice to be back in the cockpit.
Roads have dried out considerably. This was a swimming pool yesterday, but heck, I just don't know what's ahead. I honestly don't. But all we can do is just plod along nice and slow and see how we go, eh?
Look, I think this is going to be one of those suck it and see type days.
I think you're right. How are you guys going for fuel?
Mate, we're sitting on about a quarter of a tank.
We've got a Jerry.
Yeah, we've got a Jerry, but if we have to turn back around because we hit some godforsaken waterhole, we might be in a bit of strife.
I'm a little bit the same. I think I've got about a third of a tank with a Jerry. I'll be fine so long as we can push on.
That looked a little bit slippery there.
Wouldn't take too much more on a section like that to abandon all hope.
If you can just keep taking that nice soft layer off the top for us, we'll be fine.
About 400 metres from camp, Steph and Harley run into the first major drama of the day and go down on what seemingly looks like solid ground.
It's gonna be a long day boys.
Oh yeah, that is shit wonky.
Mate, we've just come through what's, I think, just one of these little cracks in the dry bed where all the water runoff has just been flowing through for the last couple of days. Now, camera car and the 8-ton patrol has gone through first and just taken the top off it, and just as the van got in there, she just sat down a little bit and that's all she wrote. We just need a little tug just to get over that and we'll be back on the road, but this could be signs of things to come.
Now, whilst this isn't a difficult recovery, what it does mean for us is that our escape plan has taken another turn for the worse. If this is happening here, 400 metres from camp, what lies ahead for the next 40 kilometres? Rightio, mate. I'm ready to give you a tug when you are.
Yeah, you're moving slowly. Nicely done.
Easy.
Less wheel spin.
Get a right hand down too, mate.
There we go.
That's you, eh?
Sally, get it. Woo!
Love it. That easy.
Nice one, Harles.
With this in mind, we come up with an idea. Well, just jumped in the camera car. We've sort of run out of options to get out of here. We can backtrack, but it's back over what we know is going to be some pretty how-you-going terrain. There's really only one other track out of here, and we've never driven it before. We've got no idea what it's like. So before we commit to taking the vans up here, we've got a couple of options. We could unhook and drive through ourselves. Preferable option, though, is just to jump in the camera car and do a bit of a scouting mission ahead and just see what this track's like, see if it's passable. And if it is, full steam ahead in the vans. So at this point, we're just kind of thinking sensibly rather than irrationally and just trying to get out. It's kind of times like this where you don't want to panic. You just want to keep your head about you. Just make sensible options. And so for us, it's just, we've got plenty of fuel in the old D-Max there. So I'm going to sit back, let the cameraman do the driving, and yeah, we'll see what's up here, then we'll bring the vans up if it's all possible. From where we currently sit, there are 3 possible routes out of here from what we know. There's the southern road we came in on, the northern road we originally planned to take, and a fence line track that seems to run about 50 k's back to a dirt road that in theory could be a way out. We know one thing, we can't go back the way we came. It's completely flooded. So we need to scout the northern road before we take the vans through. Unfortunately, after about 5 k's, the northern track turns to mud and eventually peters out into yet another floodplain, seemingly impossible to cross. Another side track leads to a locked gate, so it leaves us with only one option, and that's that fence line track. But it dips into the valley and the D-Max runs into some trouble.
The trusty camera car's just gone for a bit of recce and
Got themselves into a bit of a pickle.
now we're going to play the recovery game.
Turn that way. Turn that way. Yep.
Look at them go. But I don't think we're getting a van down here, that's for sure.
Another K or so down the fence line track and we run into some pretty boggy terrain.
There you are.
Ew.
For now, however, another day has gotten away from us and all 3 routes seem far from being possible. So it's back to the vans for a debrief. One supply that isn't running low is the comfort of the vans. With plenty of water, power on board, I reckon we'll be okay. About 1 kilometre from our original camp, we found some higher and drier ground to call home. And with that, we're going to let the sun do its thing and dry out this beautiful, if not somewhat soggy, country. Another clear night and some early morning sun means good news for us, as the track out is continuing to dry. Day 5. Starting to go slightly loopy. I saw that Steph and Harley had a packet of pitted dates. Single worst food in the history of the world is a pitted date. We have to get out of here. It didn't get serious until I considered eating a pitted date, and now this is deadly serious. We flew the drone today back the way we came in. There is that much water still out that way after 3 days of no rain. So what that says is that going back the way we came, that's a no-go. However, behind me, that fence line runs directly down to a more major road. That right now represents our only way out of here. So pretty dire, to be fair. What we're going to do now is load all the recovery gear we've got into the D-Max, and myself and the cameraman are going to jump in that because it's the lightest vehicle, and go for a recce down this fence line. Of course, we know about a K down the old fence line track. It turns to mud, and we need to cross this first challenge to see what's further ahead. But sure enough, the D-Max goes down hard, and our long push out well and truly begins. Righto, camera car has gone down. Good news is, it's not that thick, claggy black soil on this side of where we are. So whilst the camera car is stuck, it's not actually what I would call bogged down. It's just skating on the top, just can't get traction, and we have got trees to winch off. With the Runva doing some solid work, we managed to slowly winch the D-Max out onto the side of the track. I firmly believe with a bit of momentum, once we put this track in, you'd get through that. Don't think you'd get through it with the vans though. So it might even be a case of see if we can get out and get the vehicles out get somewhere where we can get fuel, supplies, and come back in a day or two when things are dried out and pick up the vans. The vans are high and dry, they're totally safe.
There's a hole there. Yeah, there is.
Now, while the sun is shining right now, we haven't forgotten the words from the local authorities telling us to get out of these planes as quickly as possible, as more rain is on the way. With the camo in the driver's seat and me spotting from the side, we inch bit by bit past the marshy terrain and eventually start to get a rhythm and learn the way to get through this unscathed. Sure enough, we make it safely past the next challenge and back onto the track. The left side is currently inundated with water for Ks and Ks. Plan is here is to try and get a K or two up here, then we'll put the drone up again and just map this track and see if there's those big inland seas, because you just can't get through those, so there's no point in even trying. Yeah, look at that sea of water here.
People.
Now, as the crow flies, the dirt road that'll take us to the closest remote town and salvation of some sort only lies about 30 or 40 Ks from where we are. However, as you will soon see, a series of major challenges lie ahead of us in order to get there. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to push on. Interesting. The track diverts south here. Very interesting. Oh, that does not look pleasant. Oh, that's just abandoned a bit of hope, that has. We were hoping we could follow that fence line all the way out, but it's not the case. But where does it go? That's the problem.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, hang on. This might need
There's
to be
water
attacked.
on both sides. There's water there, a lot of it.
Okay, this one could be tricky. The next piece of the puzzle. We really are just figuring this out as we go. The next challenge comes in the form of a low-lying, muddy area with black soil on one side and a newly formed watercourse on the other. So it slowly does it here. But even though the surface dries up, underneath is still just as slippery as it has been for days. The D-Max is going nowhere fast. Nah, you're in it. You've collapsed underneath that track. If this track continues to be as tricky as this, there's absolutely no chance we're towing the vans through here. Once we winch through the bog, the track runs another couple of Ks before we hit a massive roadblock. The track runs along a dam, but with the amount of rain that's fallen, the dam has broken its banks and the water has flooded the road. And this marks the end of our recce. Righto, final sit rep for the day. It's been a huge day. Me and the camo have pushed for the last 6 hours, and we have gotten within what we believe to be 3 or 4 kilometres of the main gravel road out of here. So we've had one calamity after another, but we've managed to overcome it, and now we've met the big boss, and that is this huge floodplain through here. The road goes straight down through there, but there's a culvert in the middle, and she's about that deep, and you sink to your knees. I just don't think that is drivable. So what we're thinking is, just like we've done before, we're just going to do a big arc right the way around this, and it looks like this track just continues straight down to the gravel road out of here with no other obstacles. There's no other water that we can see. We're not going to continue though. The main reason being this is a little sketchy, and it would be best if we tackle this as a group rather than just one vehicle. So get back to camp. I, for one, I'm going to crack a cold beer. I think the camo will do the same. We'll tell the kids what we found, and then I think we come up with a plan that we're all agreed on, because it's going to mean we're going to have to leave the vans up there for a few days while everything dries out. So yeah, what a bloody epic. Come for a little trip through the Outback, I said. It'll be fun, I said. 5-6 days later, I don't even know, and we're still stuck out here. But this has been one of the more memorable things I've done in a long time, folks. And we've got no bloody idea if we're going to make it out of here, but we're closer than we've been. So let's spin it around, camo. Let's get out of here. With the track now mapped on our GPS, it's not long before we are back to base camp. Kidleys,
Yes? Talk to us. What'd you find?
I'll sum it up by saying this.
Yes?
It took us 5 hours to get to where we turned around,
Cool.
15 minutes to come back.
Love that. So it's drying out.
Well, we put a track in.
Yeah.
Ah,
Look, we can't go today. There's no way you'll make it out today. It'd be silly to try. Keep the fire going. And I don't know, let's just see what tomorrow brings. Don't look that way. Today marks the first bit of relief and hope that we've had in the last 5 days. Fingers crossed, tomorrow we can make it out of here. Stinking freaking hot out here, and it's only up past 8 in the morning, so I'm going to give myself a little treat, just a little freshen up. I'll put my jeans in the freezer. Oh, gotta act quick, gotta act quick. Go away. Today marks the 6th day stuck in the floodplains, and with supplies starting to dwindle, we're going to make a push out of here. Cameraman's going to have a shower because he stinks. We're going to zip back out again in a day, maybe 2, depending on how good the pub is, pick up the vans and continue on. So we don't really need them. They've got so much lithium and that much solar on the roof that I'm literally leaving everything on.
Bye-bye, caravans. Miss you already.
Well, it feels like the ground's a little bit more solid, even just leaving camp today.
Yeah, there's a bit nicer feel about it, but look, we are still sitting up here on the nice, dry, high ground that we've been perched on for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's very true. I kind of know what we're in for today. It ain't pleasant, but I think if we play our cards right, we should get through fairly well.
When you said that we'd been having it a bit easy on the beaches, swimming with dolphins, I didn't really think you were going to take it this far to the extreme.
I wish I could eat me words right now. Yeah, sorry about that. Didn't think it'd go this way either.
I'm excited for this little mission, but also like, what's gonna be out there?
Yeah.
Having mapped the track out yesterday means we know the exact route we can take to make sure we don't lose a rig in the black soil. So, in order to not cut the tracks up, A, and in order to B, not spend an entirety of our lifetimes winching, we've decided just to pop over here and try and skirt our way through this itchy, scratchy stuff. And every hour that we spend with that sun blaring down, is another hour this track dries out. Oh no, that's still a bit sticky. The old throttle controller, Ultimate 9 throttle controller, I've just changed it. I literally just changed it as we came out of that creepy crawly section. I had it on economy mode through there, and I've just thrown it into adaptive mode. That's actually my favourite mode. Adaptive mode basically means that it'll respond to however I put my foot down. So as you saw just then, I just felt that sticky stuff and I didn't need to put my foot down, but I got scared. Put my foot down, the harder I push down, the more throttle response I get. The softer I push down, the softer the throttle response. Adaptive. For me, in these conditions where maybe I'm going to need to creep, I might drop back to economy, but for the most part, I just want that instant, get me out of here. And that's what adaptive does so well. So I think I'll keep that on adaptive for the whole day today. With a couple more sloppy sections navigated, we make it to the next bog hole. Loggus Boggus. Doesn't look like much, but we were in here for quite some time. But today, I think I'm just going to go straight through the guts of it. That's not as soft as you think. You just don't get any traction. The whole log bog yesterday caused us quite a bit of grief because the water was up here, so different. The water was up here yesterday and there was just no way we thought we could get around it. So we came right up on this barrier here and then we hit that log, we had to winch that out of the way and it was quite the debacle. Today, I think I'm just going to come driver's side wheel here and just feed it through there and I might get stuck in that. A bit deceptive because I'm not too sure which direction to take here. I'm thinking out this way. That's what you need out here.
Helps with a little bit of V8 power, but you just rid down into that mud. I'll try and steer clear of that, I think, that big mud pile on the left there.
Rightio, track's open, come on through.
You ready?
I'm ready.
With a clear line and a lighter vehicle, Harley makes light work of this one, which is good news because we've still got a long way to go. Right, you can't see it yet, but just up in front of us is a dam and it's busted its guts. There's water everywhere up here, so we've had to go around it. Took us over an hour to get through here yesterday. I reckon we'll do it in about 5 minutes if you follow me.
If you got that marked on your GPS, we'll follow right behind you.
It's looking better today. Like, you couldn't have gone, that's the road straight ahead there, believe it or not. That was underwater yesterday. It's worse down there though.
Yeah, she looks like she'd get pretty swampy up there.
Well, even though it sounds like yesterday we missed out on all of the adventure and the action, we're actually so lucky that the boys went up ahead and could see what lied ahead for us today and cleared some of the paths and everything.
Yeah, look, them doing a recce has made life a lot easier. Just even being able to find their way through that swamp then's just saved us that much time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the weird thing is, we've actually got to cross a little tiny tributary up there.
Yeah, lovely. Bit of fun.
Well, it looks it, but then you hit it and it's the hardest part of the entire floodplain. The track around the dam only runs about 2 k's, but we still need to take it easy because these marshy low-lying areas can catch you out. Luckily, we've mapped it out well and the dam has been conquered. Well, finally, I get to show you something that's got a bit of meaning to it. This is the final boss. This is as far as we got yesterday because it was getting late.
Yep. Look.
And it doesn't look like, it looked tiny, but you know, I'm 71 kilos and I sink into it.
Feels a lot more substantial than what we've seen so far today. And you can see coming through that middle there is going to be quite the challenge itself.
I just don't, yeah.
And so we want to stay up high here, but this creek here is, I don't want to hit that with full berry, so we need to be back down there.
My experience has shown that this, you'll either get part the way, but you'll still be on top and just lose traction and winch out easily.
Yep.
Or you will go down so hard and create a suction that a 10-tonne excavator ain't going to get you out. You know, would you be putting 4.5 tonne of four-wheel drive on that? My thoughts are probably not. It's very swampy all through here, but if we go back a couple of 100 metres, there's a sand ridge that goes all up this way. There's actually a rocky outcrop up here. Cross that, and then it does get a bit sketchy. You've got to follow a dodgy sand ridge to come back down a couple hundred metres on that side. Because we've come to the lowest part of the floodplains, we need to find a way around this large flooded area. The plan here is simple. Stay on the slightly higher areas. We should be okay. Got the GPS on here. I'm basically just going to do a big one of them around that water. Seems excessive, but if it works, happy days. There we go, maybe through here. At this point, I really am just using all my instinct and experience to find the driest lines through the scrub.
Definitely feel it getting a bit softer down here in this lower bit.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. My thoughts exactly. So what we're doing here, folks, is I've got Camo next to me here, and he's got the drone up in the air. Steph's in the camera car, and he's just showing me, I don't know whether you can see that real well, or it's a bit how you're going, but he's just showing me where the water is. You can see there's a heck of a lot of it to, well, almost immediately in front of me to my left. But over there, man, to the far right, that looks pretty dry to me.
So far.
So, having these little tools at your disposal, A, a cameraman, B, a drone, just makes life that little bit easier. Because I probably would have headed over there. With that, we get the final push around the flood, and what looks to be the wettest part yet. So there's only one thing to do, and that's power through. Am I heading in the right direction?
We need to give it a head through that first bit, Steph.
In this scenario, the best thing to do is stay on top and keep a consistent speed. Because as soon as you stop, it's game over. Nah, I've just got to, man, or we're going to go down. Yeah, that was a bit hectic. I had to just give it to her there. I started to go down at 4.5 tonnes. You can feel that. D-Max is a cruise through. With the track in sight, it's looking good. And finally, we are on the home stretch out of here. A few soggy bits, but I think we're going to make it, mate. I think we're going to make it. The road lies ahead.
20 metres. 20 metres and I'll go.
Holy.
Made it.
Well done, mate. Oh. I'm happy to be around that, to be honest. I have no idea what's in front, zero idea. But hopefully, this takes us out of here. as we get past the floodplains and meet up with the old fence line, finally, some relief starts to sink in. And not too much further out, if our eyes don't deceive us, we make it to the road to salvation, and more importantly, the road that should take us out of here. That's the road. Thank you. Folks, have a go at this. We've done it. The road exists. We have bloody made it.
Oh, yes! Finally! This is so good.
Happy to be going to the pub for a pub meal tonight. I am cheering, mate, because we were low on supplies.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm just going to be frothing to put fuel in the big girl because she's thirsty. Hey, listen, we're not out of this yet. This road's still going to be wet and we've still got a long way to go to get supplies. So I reckon we just find a good speed and let's just get us in.
You've taken us this far, you've led us the way, so we'll follow you.
I just got to touch it to make sure it's real. To you folks at home, this just looks like an outback dirt road. It is, but to us, this is 5 days of uncertainty coming to fruition. If we hadn't been able to get onto this road from that direction, I don't know how we would have got to the next fuel supply. Safe to say we're going to make it now. Head into town, or the nearest town. We're going to fuel up, we're going to water up, we're going to supply up. One of us needs to have a shower. But as you know, we do not have the vans with us. The vans are still 40 k's that way. Floodwaters around here dictate that the vans aren't coming out in the next day or two. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's 35 today, it's stinking hot, we've got a breeze, things will dry out and we can go and rescue the vans. For now though, we're going to head in here, take care of business after what has been one of the most memorable off-grids I've ever done. Catch you for the next step when we go and rescue those vans. Coming up next on Off-Grid.
Are we getting the vans out on this?
Just got to get to the vans first.
Look at those clouds. I don't know whether I've got PTSD or what it is. My plan for this leg of the trip has not gone according to the master plan, but I'm not taking any chances. I've seen what happens when it rains out here. Let's get in, grab these vans, get out of this floodplain, continue on north.
Get in, get out.
Thoroughly underestimated just how long this country stays wet for. I'm nervous. Come on. This part is soft. Holy heck. Don't you dare sink down.